offensive coordinator Tommy Rees is going down a Kevin Stefanski lane and not even mentioning Shedeur name. There is a clear conspiracy going on in Cleveland with the coaching staff refusing to say Shedeur Sanders' name for whatever reason. Now, I'm not saying that they're doing it on purpose, but it's looking real damn spooky. Now, offensive coordinator Tommy Rees pretty much took over the play calling abilities for the Jets game and probably for the foreseeable future. And it didn't look no different. You know, it looked very...
You won't believe this wild scene actually went down. Tommy Rees just unleashed a full-on verbal explosion at Dillon Gabriel and sent a not-so-subtle message about Shedeur Sanders' future, and the whole thing hit like a plot twist nobody was ready for. I don't know if Rees was running on straight adrenaline or just caught in his own confusion, but somebody needs to check his pulse after this mess. Picture this, you're chilling, watching football, minding your own business, and suddenly Cleveland looks like some underground documentary where the coaches act like saying Shedeur out loud is forbidden. They treat his name like it's some ancient curse carved into stone. If someone walked into the facility and said Shedeur with confidence, you'd expect alarms blaring, sprinklers raining, and security rolling up like, "Sir, come with us immediately." The whole coaching crew behaves like Shedeur isn't even a real player on the roster, but some mysterious figure somebody's uncle made up after a cookout. It's wild. And then here comes Tommy Rees, adding even more chaos to a storyline that was already strange. He finally gets full control of the play calling, like this big takeover was supposed to change everything. But what do we get? The same slow offense.
Get Jerry going, get the ball to the perimeter. You know, there's some other things that I would talk about. Don't want to schematically give anything away, but felt like there was progress there. Felt like our guys had a really good week of prep. Really disappointed in the result, you know, ultimately walking off of that field and how the game ends. And look, as a play caller, there's always things you want back. Felt like we put our guys in position to have success throughout the game. And then when you do that and you don't have success, you always look to why and what you can do during the week to help your players.
The same confusion, the same moments where fans sit there like, why did we run that? It's like slapping a new paint job on a beat-up old car and bragging, yeah, I upgraded the whole system? No, you didn't. It still breaks down the same way, just shinier. But Rees? Oh, he's locked in like this is personal. He refuses to switch up anything. Dillon Gabriel is his guy, period. You could have fires outside the stadium, fans protesting, reporters losing their minds, carrier pigeons dropping new plays from the sky, and he'd still be pointing at Dillon like a proud stage mom shouting, "That's my star right there."
He's pretty much adamant about sticking with Dillon Gabriel. He did not say anything bad about Kevin Stefanski, which we already know he probably wasn't going to do that. But to me, this is just my own personal opinion. I truly believe that there's some type of agenda against Tommy Rees, Kevin Stefanski, all the damn coach staff.
And how the game ends. And look, as a play caller, there's always things you want back. Felt like we put our guys in position to have success throughout the game. And then when you do that and you don't have success.
The commitment is loud, stubborn, and almost unbelievable. Then came that moment, the masterpiece of confusion, the Picasso of questionable decisions. It's 4th and 1. The whole city holding its breath, the stadium buzzing like it knows destiny is about to walk in. This was the moment to run the ball, use the fullback, or literally do anything that made basic football sense. Instead, they dial up a pass that felt like a handwritten apology letter to the defense. But here's where it gets almost comedic, and we got to talk about this fullback situation because it makes no sense. Cleveland actually has a fullback who blocks like he's running on pure determination and double shot espresso energy. Every time he steps on the field, something good happens. Naturally, Cleveland avoids using him in the biggest short yardage moment of the night. Perfect logic, right? Why use what works when you can run a science experiment with a rookie quarterback and pray the football gods are in a generous mood? Fans in Cleveland aren't even asking for miracles anymore. They just want basic consistency. If the fullback works, use him. If running works, run. If passing works, pass.
You make that the defense, you know, won the rep, and that happens in football throughout a game. And then there's a couple of plays there that you say didn't put our guys in the right position. And those are the ones as a play caller that eat at you. But definitely felt like trending in the right direction. Some of the things that we wanted to emphasize without going into too much detail schematically, we got done. and we got to build off that and start winning some games. You talk about a play call you want back, you start there. Had a lot of confidence in the call on third down that we'd pick up the first. Felt like we maybe lost a yard there, and look, in hindsight, you want to.
And if chaos keeps blowing up in your face, maybe stop doing chaotic things. The league is full of defensive monsters. Cool, that's the NFL. Pressure happens. But in Cleveland, pressure doesn't just show up. It arrives like an invited guest with VIP access. The quarterback isn't just under duress, he's being hunted like he's on some dramatic nature documentary. And some plays look like the coaches accidentally mailed out a blueprint that says, "Please blitz us aggressively, thank you." Every offensive snap feels like somebody tripped the alarm in the trenches and panicked instead of typing in the code, creating total mayhem every time the ball is snapped. Meanwhile, there's Dillon, the man of the moment, the chosen one, the rollout machine. Cleveland sends him rolling out more than a pizza shop working overtime, and somehow they call it
not a developmental quarterback right now. He's a quarterback who's hit the wall, right? You have your picture painted of who Dillon Gabriel is because he has done nothing but go backwards since that first game.
That's right.
He is overmatched, and the numbers say that, and the eye test says it, and the reality says that he always was. But they put him out here, they rushed him in, they didn't do him any favors. They're not doing him any favors with this receiving core, but it's very clear he is not going to be an NFL quarterback, and that has been the case since.
Strategy. That's not optimism. That's full-blown denial with a football helmet on. And don't even try to bring up Shedeur, because Cleveland treats his name like it's some supernatural trigger word that might summon him straight into the huddle if spoken with confidence. The way they dodge saying his name is unbelievable. It's like the staff got handed a quiet memo saying, "Do not acknowledge Shedeur under any circumstances." You'd think the depth chart had a blank space under QB1 with a sticky note that reads, "Don't ask." You could walk into a press conference holding a giant poster of Shedeur and they'd compliment the frame, the lighting, the paper quality, anything to avoid mentioning the actual player. It's comedy at this point. But here's the twist everybody already senses coming. The pressure is stacking up. Every loss cracks the door open just a little more. Every weird play call sends the fan base closer to full meltdown mode. And eventually, whether it's someone upstairs, someone on the field, or someone who finally hits their breaking point, somebody is going to say it, not whisper it, not imply it. Actually say it out loud. Shedeur. And the so-called plot twist, it won't even be surprising. That's just how sports works. You can hide a player on the depth chart. You can pretend he's invisible. You can avoid his name like it's some forbidden chant, but the future is simple.
Had Tommy Rees not been so stubborn about trying to get his guy in, they could have given Jalen Milroe confidence earlier, and I think they probably would have beaten Texas.
Yeah, it's a great point because look, everybody knows in the portal games, if you bring in the offensive coordinator from Notre Dame and he had a guy that he thought was successful, Tyler Buckner, with him at Notre Dame, then you're going to give that a shot, just even give your team a shot in the arm. But neither here nor there, that's not going to happen, and Buckner's probably never going to see the field.
If Dillon keeps struggling, if the games keep slipping, if fans keep getting louder, that pressure becomes way too heavy to ignore. Sooner or later, the forbidden name gets spoken, and Shedeur stops being treated like a myth and becomes the quarterback. And when that moment hits, Cleveland fans are going to react in the wildest double combo ever, cheering like they hit the jackpot while also panicking instantly because the expectations shoot straight through the roof. That's football. Drama today, hope tomorrow. Meltdown next week, meltdown the week after, repeat until the playoffs. That's the cycle Cleveland seems committed to. Until the big moment finally arrives, we're stuck watching the strangest mystery in football, the quiet avoidance of Shedeur's existence, the endless rollout adventures, and those 4th and 1 choices that look like a mix of bravery, overconfidence, and maybe a little too much caffeine. And through all of it, Tommy Rees stays convinced everything is trending up.
Don't believe me? Call all the players he's coached. He did it in Alabama. He did it in Notre Dame. If Tommy Rees has the ultimate power and Dillon Gabriel is not doing what he thinks he should do with the ball, or Dillon Gabriel is not playing well, Dillon Gabriel will be snapped.
even when the scoreboard is basically yelling the opposite. This Cleveland season isn't just football, it's premium entertainment. It's chaos, comedy, and unpredictability wrapped up in shoulder pads. It feels more like a reality show pretending to be strategy. Fans aren't just watching for touchdowns. They're tuning in for plot twists, character development, emotional sideline moments, and post-game explanations that sound like someone arguing their case in front of a judge. And until the next episode drops, the drama keeps rolling. Dillon stays riding, Tommy keeps guarding his experiments like top secret files, and Shedeur stays in the Shedeurs like some Marvel villain waiting for his big origin story debut. Cleveland isn't running an NFL season, they're producing a weekly series, and everyone keeps watching because no matter how it ends, the episodes stay unforgettable. And speaking of unforgettable, we got to talk about this offense and adversity, because it's comedy at this point. Every NFL team deals with adversity. Good teams respond, bad teams fold. But Cleveland treats adversity like some deep spiritual crisis. One bad play goes wrong and suddenly the whole offense falls into a group identity meltdown. Someone drops a pass, and 3 possessions later, the whole squad is out there acting like they've never seen a football in their lives. It's like watching a slow-motion domino collapse while dramatic violin music plays in the background. They can avoid saying Shedeur's name, pretend the noise isn't real, and keep pointing to Dillon every single week, but everybody already knows the turning point is creeping closer.
Because we want to see Shedeur, let's grade it fairly. That's all I'm saying.
I graded it fairly. Like,
you really want to, you said I want him to play bad so Shedeur can get
I do, but some teachers might want this kid to do bad, but when he turned that test in, she just got to grade that.
I believe Shedeur's better as well, but if we're going to grade, stop grading with bias.
All right, great.
They're not guarding some secret, they're just delaying the plot twist everyone can see coming. Sooner or later, some national TV analyst is gonna bring up Shedeur live, and the Browns media crew is gonna feel instant heartburn trying to spin it. Sooner or later, fans in the stadium are gonna start chanting the name they're not supposed to chant. And eventually, one of the veterans is gonna drop a cryptic locker room line that makes the whole city lose its mind. That's how pressure works. It stacks up until silence becomes impossible. And just imagine the day Shedeur finally jogs into that huddle. The cameras zoom in. The stadium explodes with noise. Social media goes into absolute overdrive. The whole team suddenly looks awake again. Players start blocking like their next check depends on it. It's pure electricity, and everyone will feel it the second it happens. Which brings us to the funniest subplot of this whole roller coaster. The coaching staff's magical ability to contradict themselves without technically contradicting themselves.
And you know what I'm saying, get them real lick.
They'll defend Dillon and the offense with full passion, acting like everything's going exactly according to plan. Then in the same breath, they'll casually admit all the issues, the mistakes, the pressure, the execution gaps, the turnovers, the weird play calls, without actually admitting anything is wrong. It's wild. It's like a restaurant saying, the food is excellent, but also needs major improvement, depending on which sentence you catch. Somehow everything is both fine and not fine at the exact same time. But let's be real, Rees isn't a villain in this show. He's dealing with crazy pressure, working with a young quarterback, trying to build chemistry that takes time. He's also grinding to prove he deserves the responsibility he just got handed. He's fighting to show he belongs in this seat, even while the whole city watches every move he makes. Nobody wants their first real shot to be attached to a sinking situation, so Rees is fighting to prove himself while defending the quarterback he believes in with everything he's got. There's real humanity in that fight. Coaching careers rise and fall based on who's under center, and Rees is going all in on Dillon like it's his only card left. If Dillon succeeds, Rees looks like a master mastermind. If it crashes,
Shedeur is way better than Dillon Gabriel. He just is. If Shedeur had started from the start, game 1 against Cincinnati at home, they would be the talk of the NFL right now because I look at the fourth quarter yesterday, they go 0 for 4 on third down because Dillon was playing not to lose. Don't throw it to them, don't put it on the ground. And he did a great job of that. But on one of those third downs, you have to try to make a play to win the football game. And trust me, no matter what Stefanski called, Shedeur would try to win the football game because it's how he was raised. You're going to make a play because you were born.
They'll hand him a box and an exit plan faster than he can grab his office keys. Meanwhile, Shedeur is sitting back, watching, studying, and waiting his turn. And whether the coaches like it or not, time is working in his favor. If Cleveland keeps losing, every excuse disappears. And if they start winning, it still doesn't change the fact that eventually the investment in Shedeur has to cash in. First-round quarterbacks aren't drafted to sit around collecting dust. This league isn't built for unused talent. Teams always follow the money, the hype, the potential, the future. Right now, the future isn't the main focus. Survival is. But survival only buys a little time, and time runs out fast in the NFL. This league is brutal and impatient. Fans don't want to hear about long-term plans when the team is losing this week. And owners don't care about development when the stadium starts quieting down and jerseys stop selling. Which means Cleveland is walking straight toward 2 possible endings. And we're staring at the second one. Ending 2. The offense stays mid, the scoreboard turns painful to look at, and the playoff chances float away like a drifting balloon. And then someone upstairs finally slams the big red button and says the name they've been avoiding. And when that button gets hit, the whole energy shifts instantly. Coaches start scrambling the second the switch gets flipped. Suddenly they're trying to redesign an offense for a quarterback they've been acting like doesn't even exist.
Come and say things about Shedeur Sanders. All you have to do is say, look, I get it. Shedeur has a very, big personality and he's known globally, right? But I know Shedeur Sanders as a person, and as what I see here. He works hard, he's intelligent, he puts the work in, he's humble, he's a great teammate. And all of those things, I hope you guys get an opportunity to see that eventually when he gets on the field. And guess what? It would diffuse all bad articles and people would...
Practices start looking totally different. Media day turns into straight chaos. Fans celebrate like somebody finally lifted a long-lasting curse. And Tommy Rees has to walk up to the mic with a straight face and pretend he always planned for this moment, even though the whole city knows that's nowhere near the truth. But here comes the real twist. Even if Shedeur steps in and lights it up, even if he becomes the real franchise star, this whole bizarre silent treatment era is gonna live forever. Years from now, Cleveland fans will still be laughing about the time the coaching staff used every name and every excuse except the one they actually needed. The memes from this era, they're gonna last longer than half the roster. And if Shedeur finally takes the field and dominates, if he becomes the face of the team, the one who pulls Cleveland out of this spiral, the transition from we don't say his name to we always believed in him will be the smoothest pivot in NFL history. They'll rewrite the entire story in real time. Suddenly he wasn't benched, he was being developed. Suddenly the silence was part of the plan.
Shedeur Sanders. They are unwilling, clearly, to allow Shedeur Sanders to man the offense in a real NFL game. Kevin Stefanski was asked about it, and he said, I'm not concentrating on the current development of Shedeur Sanders. I'm worried about what we're worried about. I'm now convinced that we need to do a deeper dive investigation into why they are so reluctant to give the kid a shot. I don't know that it's going to be any good. I think there's as good a chance that he stinks as that he's decent.
It'll be a whole new script. So here we are, watching this saga unfold like an HBO drama with a helmet budget. And one thing is absolutely clear. We're watching a storyline fans will talk about for years. The loyalty to Dillon, the avoidance of Shedeur, the legendary 4th and 1 moment, the non-stop rollout marathon, the emotional swings, the denial, the chaos, all of it building toward the future. And that future is coming fast. whether people are ready for it or not. Cleveland didn't just build a football season, they built a full-blown saga that feels like a streaming series dropped every Sunday. It's a meme factory, a documentary begging to be filmed, a highlight reel of wild highs and painful lows that nobody asked for, yet nobody can stop watching. And the wildest part, the season is just warming up, which means the plot is still twisting, the chaos is still rising, and that name they pretend doesn't exist might soon be the loudest one echoing through the entire stadium. This episode isn't over, not even close. There's always another Sunday, another storyline, another moment where everything flips. And somewhere on that sideline, Shedeur is waiting, ready for the moment the whole city knows is coming. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you on the next one.